90-day fiance celeb Andrei Castravet is a harsh and abrasive guy. He has so much attitude. While he has a heart, he's often greedy and insufferable. 90-day fiance villain Andrei Castravet is a devilish reality star who always looks out for number one. Sometimes his words and actions are disgusting. This boorish husband and father is as abrasive as sandpaper. He rubs everyone the wrong way. Rude and crude, with sexist views that harken back to the dark ages. Andrei's into putting down the in-laws that he fleeces. Whether he's expecting Chuck Potthast to pay for a lavish Moldovan wedding, actually, 2 weddings, or swearing at his wife Libby Potthast, he's embracing his inner monster. The 90-day fiance, happily ever after. Star has zero emotional intelligence. Andrei wants to suck the marrow out of life, and he isn't exactly philosophical about the obstacles that stand in his way. He tries to crush those roadblocks. When he does, he has no finesse. Like an angry child, he lashes out, exploding into wild tantrums that, unfortunately, don't lead to timeouts. The bombastic former detective won't hesitate to get into physical fights with his enemies, such as his off-the-rails brother-in-law Charlie Potthast. Andrei's out of control, except on Instagram, where he still manages to offend, even as he desperately tries to rehabilitate his image. As per TLC at YouTube, a warm and fuzzy family dinner went seriously awry when Charlie Potthast entered the fray. The tension began to build when Chuck offered everyone burgers. Andrei showcased his signature refinement. He responded, "I don't want to *kin eat anything." Then Charlie appeared, ready to bait a brother-in-law with a very short fuse. Naturally, as seen above, there were fireworks. This really inflamed Andrei, who began to prepare for physical battle. The 2 men ended up in a tacky brawl that unfolded near the swimming pool. Sure, it was entertaining, but that doesn't change the fact that Andrei's totally out of control. His anger management skills are non-existent. Suffice it to say that the possibly shady businessman Chuck's wistful wish to have some fun as a family did not come true. Before Andrei turned down the burger offer, the chatter was centered on what Andrei did to the Potthasts. Did he ruin their lives? They seemed to think so, except for the disturbingly loyal Libby. So, Andrei was getting provoked right and left. Nonetheless, his coping skills are very poor, and that's why he's a monster. Andrei's conduct with his wife has been a hot topic so many times, and not in a good way. He isn't shy about embracing a male chauvinist mindset. Mostly, his wife goes along with it. She seems very devoted to Andrei, who's emotionally abused her in the past. Clearly, she loves this man no matter what. In a recent post, a cringe skit showed Andrei's dark side, as he checked out his wife's bottom while she did the housework. Andrei chilled out as she toiled. He objectified his spouse, who wore a tight dress, by adding the slightly sleazy caption. At first glance, this post might be considered flattering. He's into Libby, and that's great. However, few could argue that the clip and caption were all about the proverbial male gaze. Libby's shape was the focus, and Andrei's compliment was all about externals. While it isn't monstrous to say something nice about a partner's body, if obliquely he veered into sexist territory here. His man-of-the-house shtick is so tired. Andrei used profane language while interacting with Chuck at the family dinner that was previously discussed. However, that was just the tip of the iceberg. The notorious 90-day fiance villain knows all the bad words and puts them into play with everyone in his life, except perhaps his children. His longtime partner, Libby's been a target. While his innocent kids don't get the brunt of it, they have overheard him. Since Andrei has no filter, those around him are treated to nasty tirades on the regular. He drops F-bombs and so much more. The network bleeped out his cursing. However, Andrei can offend without uttering a single swear word. When he ordered Libby to listen double in Moldavia, as per happily ever after, he showed the kind of in-your-face attitude that has made him a bona fide monster. Who does he think he is? Obviously, Andrei has a high opinion of himself and doesn't hesitate to take his wife to task when she fails to measure up to his high standards. At the same time, he's brought so much turmoil to her life. Cigar-smoking macho man Andrei once encountered some mysterious foes in Moldova, who would apparently do almost anything to get him out of the country. A person has to sin on a pretty extreme level to earn the wrath of these types of shadowy forces. While Andrei was somewhat cryptic about the situation, which wouldn't seem so out of place in a John le Carré novel, seemed to be linked with his former career as a police officer. After being pushed out of his home nation, he ended up in the Emerald Isle. He met Libby on an app while they were both in Ireland. Apparently, a group of corrupt police officers turned on Andrei, who didn't want to participate in their illegal activities. This plot seemed a bit convoluted, but maybe it's true. If so, Andrei's a hero rather than a monster. However, it's not improbable that he's exaggerating. Did this really happen? Is Andrei the type of stand-up guy who's going to resist evil every single time? Maybe not. His track record, in terms of being good, is very sketchy. If he did fight for justice in Moldova, he clearly did a 180 once he was out of the country. He became the greedy and combative man that 90DF viewers love to hate. His problems in Moldova may have triggered immigration woes in the USA, as Andrei once feared being deported. He said on screen that immigration officials were whispering about him, which made him seem paranoid. While it's not impossible that some black mark on his record caused the immigration issues, as he believes, his problems with the aforementioned shadowy forces may not have been the real reason why he had to worry about his status in America. Andrei's a bully and his barbs may have drawn blood, as Charlie apparently slimmed down after being taunted by Andrei. Even the kindest and most compassionate advice about weight loss can really backfire, unleashing a host of insecurities in the people the comments are directed at. Of course, Andrei's not going to sugarcoat his guidance. It's going to hit hard, just as it's supposed to. On screen, Andrei definitely wasn't trying to soften his approach when he described Charlie as his feffing fada **** brother. After that kind of abuse, it's unsurprising that Charlie began to look leaner in photos, such as the family portrait shown above. Andrei may not have grown up in luxe surroundings, and now that he's living out the American dream, he's flaunting his wealth. That's perhaps understandable, as the perks that he now enjoys probably seemed totally out of reach when he was younger. It's great that he's getting so much from life, but sometimes, people who flaunt their wealth on Instagram aren't really that wealthy. Also, it's obnoxious to show off belongings and expensive trips in front of 90DF fans who may not have nearly as much. In the post above, via a screen grab, and the one below, which features an oversized and glitzy Christmas tree, Andrei and Libby are clearly living large. The real issue here is the fact that Andrei's gotten money from his in-laws and his partner. He hasn't necessarily earned it all himself, so showing off seems a little crass. If a person asks relatives for cold, hard cash, only to flaunt luxuries online, that may spark some resentment in those who doled out the money. Does Chuck enjoy seeing Andrei show off? Maybe not, as he probably had to spend a lot of money in order to get Andrei and Libby to that point. The truth is that he might find it galling. While Chuck's been generous, the money he's given to the controversial duo has caused drama. The other adult podcast kids feel that Andrei and Libby get the most from Chuck. Their envy and anger complicates Chuck's life. So with that in mind, maybe Monster Andrei should tone down the most outrageous, lavish lifestyle displays online. Andrei wasn't 100% appropriate when he got flirty with a certain sultry blonde. Yara Zaya's extremely glamorous, which is why it's so baffling that her husband likes to spend his free time at strip clubs. It could be argued that he has better at home. With that in mind, Andrei's only human, and probably couldn't help but notice that Yara was appealing. However, he's married, and getting close to Yara is not going to change his monster image. During yet another nasty feud, Andrei told off Jovi Dufresne, who'd admittedly provoked him by accusing Andrei of being the reason for all the conflicts in the podcast family. It has to be said that this could well be true. Anyway, after that verbal attack, Andrei retaliated with a vengeance, just like he always does. He said that Jovi wasn't good enough for Yara, which made it seem like Andrei thought that Yara was out of Jovi's league. This seemed like a subtle compliment that he was throwing in Yara's direction. Her female friends had echoed similar sentiments in the past. Andrei has a very nice wife. Libby will do anything for him. He is a lucky man, as he's a very difficult person. To find a mate who can deal with his outbursts and aggression is perhaps more than he deserves, but this is a goal that he's achieved. So, he should be careful when it comes to gushing about other women. It's not a good look for him.